All right.
We're ticking, we're clicking. Here we go.
Toy Power Podcast is a free podcast made possible by the support of our awesome Patreon sponsors. Head to toypowerpodcast.com and see how you can help.
Oh yeah, this is power.
Hello and welcome to Toy Power, the podcast where we talk toys and everything pop culture. G'day, it's Trent here, and it is so wonderful to have your company today for episode 394. This week on the show, we take a look at the Jada Street Fighter 2 Ultra line, Ultimate, whatever it is. And then we jump into latest scores. Joining me today in the Toy Power studio, we've got Ben.
G'day, g'day.
We've got Scotty.
Hello there.
And Chris is back once more.
Yo.
All right. Now, it wouldn't be a Toy Power introduction episode without a get to know you segment.
The first timer questions.
First timer questions. So, Chris, over to you. It is starting with your favorite movie as a 10-year-old.
Wow. That's a no-brainer for me, being the 80s, because I was born 74, so I was 84, so 10 years old. Yep. So, yeah, it would have to be probably Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's similar age, Scotty. You probably sort of got that same
Yep.
window of being able to... We had Steve Schultz on the show, who is a bit older than you guys still, but he was going to the cinema, and that's something us 80s, born in 82... didn't get to experience, was that Star Wars experience?
I was lucky enough to see Empire Strikes Back at the cinemas in Rundle Mall.
Oh, wow.
This is the old... The one that
Hoyt
was
Cinema?
the Hoyt Cinema down the other end.
Yeah.
Where
Yep.
it's no longer there. So it's I can't remember what arcade it was in.
Yeah, it's in one of the arcades, and it was upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a beautiful old cinema.
Yeah. I remember it was basically... I was in the city with my mum and dad. We were walking around. They were doing their thing. And I saw the poster there, like Darth Vader, the Dark, Empire Strikes Back. I was like, Mum, we got to go see that. Please, let me go see it. They were really cool. They said, yep, let's go. So, we weren't even in the city to see a movie. We were just there doing their shopping. And we ended up watching Empire Strikes Back. And that was like the best thing ever. I get to see the sequel. I have very... vague memories of seeing Star Wars, the original one, at the drive-ins.
Oh, wow, nice.
At Jeps Cross.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and that was, I can't remember what the other movie was. It was either Bigfoot or something like that. But, yeah.
Pales in comparison
yeah,
to these.
absolutely. So, it was a double feature. So, but yeah, I just remember, seeing, I remember parts of 3PO on the screen and stuff. But seeing Empire Strikes Back, because I was a little bit older, so...
Yep.
retain the memory a bit better, that was like the best day ever. And then shortly after, all the figures started coming out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you get a toy that day, or was
no,
it straight
It was
home?
just straight home. Just watch the movie. That was enough.
Of course.
I think I was buzzing enough for
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So
Fantastic.
seeing Luke get his hand chopped off.
Yeah.
Well, 10-year-old kid. But it was the 80s.
Yeah.
It was normal.
Yeah.
It was. You're sort of exposed to seeing Luke's aunt and uncle burnt to a crisper.
Yeah.
It's something you don't see every day as a kid, but I turned out all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of was reflecting, listening to a bit of the What Went Wrong podcast.
Yes.
And like a couple of the movies that they talk about that you're like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that. And that era of the 80s, that sort of PG-13 plus rating where they'd just throw in one really scary sort of scene, or just some moments that you're like, oh man, that was confronting.
Or just the fact that they thought in the 86 Transformers film it was okay to kill off the main heroic character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was, bypassed by a board of people being like, yep,
Sell more
good
toys.
idea.
Sell the new
That's
toys.
a great way to sell more toys,
Don't worry about the trauma.
And then, quickly, written into the G.I. Joe movie, oh, look, don't worry, he survived,
Yeah.
So
He's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Very cool.
Modern day therapist to thank
Yes.
that wise decision to kill Optimus Prime on, because
They're making money.
all those children who now sit through therapy to recover from Optimus Prime dying on the big screen. Chris, I saw Empire Strikes Back at the Jeps Cross Cinema drive-in when it came out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I do vaguely recall it as well, but I found it as a sort of a 5-6-year-old watching it, it was almost scary. As a film, that the tones that
dark.
The director brought through that film were, I didn't understand it as a kid. It wasn't the fun and fluffy effects of A New Hope. This was such a dark and twisted version of Star Wars that at the time it came out, it didn't get across. It wasn't widely accepted by the crowds and the audience at the time. It took effort and re-releases before it became Empire Strikes Back that we know now. The much-loved, highly vaunted film that everyone sort of thinks this is the piece de resistance of Star Wars film.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the Tauntaun getting cut open with a lightsaber and all those guts coming out at the time, I was like, what am I in for here?
Yeah.
You know, it was.
And I
it was
thought
an
he
experience.
smelt bad on the outside, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic. All right.
Well, so I've got to ask you then, mate, as a 10-year-old, your favourite toy?
Whoa, jeez, 10 years old. So, I didn't really have a favourite, really, because I had so many things that I was collecting at the time. I wasn't really collecting, but, you know, I was into He-Man, you know, I was into Star Wars, Transformers, so there was always something different coming in. I think I can vaguely remember, like, getting FX7 figure from The Empire Strikes Back, the robot with the legs and stuff.
Yep.
And I remember getting it and just going, this is a really cool thing. This is just got the legs, they pop out, and like the head extends up, and I think I got Lando Calrissian at the same time as well. And it was like, this is cool. This is like nothing like the
nothing else like it is there.
Yeah, so I think those ones were pretty much. I didn't have any vehicles or anything. I was just collecting figures, so I think those two stood out most around that time. But I'd say a lot of my He-Man stuff was the favourite. You know, like Castle Grayskull, and
when there's a cartoon on 20, you know, like every day of the week and type thing. When you're coming home from school, it's hard to look back at some, you know, a movie that you saw once type thing. Where you can see the cartoon 5 days a week. Thing. So you're swept up in the media. Yeah, that's right. What you're consuming.
Interesting story from those days. Basically, there was a morning show that they used to play all cartoons and stuff before we'd go to school, and they had a competition, and it was a colouring in competition. You just colouring, you get the sheet of paper, and it's got a picture of. I can't quite remember what it was, but I entered, and I won.
Nice.
Like I didn't know I won until this package came up. My mum gave me this package. She said, "Oh, this is for you." I don't know why. I was like, I don't know. Bloody young. I don't buy packages when I opened it up, and it was Moduloc and Hordak.
Oh, nice.
I'd won the first prize and got the vintage Moduloc and Hordak
toys. Yep.
I was like, I didn't even know who they were at the time. You know, I was like, Masters, you know, I don't know what this is.
Right. So that was your first exposure to the line?
No, this was after. So
but you didn't know those characters.
I didn't know those characters existed, I didn't even know, you know, He-Man, Skeletor, just the ones off the cartoon. So, but then I received this package of Hordak and Modular. What is this? And then slowly became, you know, Leech and then Grizzlor and all that sort of stuff came out. So that was, it was a good time to sort of, you know, win something. Yeah, just for colouring in a piece of paper. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Bring back the simple days.
But and like, you know, I had Grayskull, I had Snake Mountain, and I had Fright Zone. So, well, Fright Zone came later on, you know, obviously. But I think those toys were really good because interaction. And you had something to put your figures on, and they had, you know, working features and stuff like that. So I think I'd say those were my ultimate favourite figures.
Sweet
stuff.
Sweet, very good. All right, question number 3, number surprise question. So now that you know what goes on in the movies and what you know of the toys and things, What do you think you'd stand a better chance in, living in the universe of predators or xenomorphs?
Oh, probably the predators.
Yep.
I can't even do the sound. I used to be able to do the sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'd survive better. I'd actually work with the predators.
Oh, there you go.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'd,
Learn that technology.
Yeah. So just put me out as bait. I don't care.
Strung up by the skinless. Yeah, full on.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Would that be bait like the goat from Jurassic Park sort of situation where you're just naked with a leash around your neck in the forest?
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Poke it with a stick. Do something.
Just make sure you get the xenomorph before it gets me.
Yeah. So you're more, circle back to that. You're more of a fan of predators, or that?
Yeah, I'm more of a predator fan.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, we saw that at the cinemas back in the day.
Did that just blow your mind?
Oh, we saw a photo of the Predator in a magazine. A friend of mine, he showed me, and I was like, "That is like the best alien I've ever seen."
I want to know more.
I want to know more of that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't really say much about where he came from, what he was, what he, it was just
less
like,
is more.
Less is more. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Hunter.
And he was just the coolest thing, like that massive shoulder cannon.
Yes.
The mask and the 3 lasers.
Yeah.
He just decimates everything that's in his path. Of course, I'm not Schwarzenegger because nothing kills him.
Yeah.
That was just number one. And then later on, when I first got my first Aliens vs Predator comic.
Yes.
That was like that sort of tied in.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah.
This is just
magic.
dream.
Yeah.
And obviously in Predator 2 when you see the alien.
Yes.
Let's go.
The coolest flashbacks and
Yeah.
things like the coolest nods in.
Yeah.
Oh,
But Predator.
Yeah.
By far number one. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well done. Cool.
I've got a follow-up question about the Predator film for you, and I'll get you guys to get your opinion on this as well. The opening scene of the film starts in space, and you see the capsule detach and fly down to Earth.
Yeah.
What would your opinion of the film be if that wasn't there at the beginning of the film? They just started raw in the jungle. You didn't know that the alien, the Predator, was a visitor from outer space. So you go into the movie with a bunch of commandos rocking in, and they're on the hunt for something, and you have no concept or idea that it came from outer space. What does that change the perception of the film for you?
I think probably it would have made it even more awesome because, first of all, at that time, you're into war movies, Platoon and Full Metal Jacket, all that sort of stuff. But, thinking that you're going to watch this army movie and then all of a sudden they're getting taken out by something that you had no idea that that's what was happening. I think that would have made it just that little bit more extra lovely.
For me, and I know that it's been critiqued a lot because I love my Predator and Alien films, and even throw back to The Thing as well. They did it in The Thing as well, the intros thing. I think that's the only defining difference between making it a From Dusk Till Dawn movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And giving you a teaser to the backstory, even though it's very fist-handed to you, you're just like, what the heck was that? Even sometimes in movies you see the end and then they flip back to the start and show you the story, how they got to the end, how they got to that conversation, or the person lying dead in the street or whatever you see. I like it because of what I know of the larger franchise now, but for it to be just fist-handed to you, From Dusk Till Dawn is sort of 2 separate movies, and I think Predator could have easily been that 2 separate, cut it in half, and it could have been a military strategic film with a wacky alien hunter tacked on at the end, versus here's a little teaser. This is going to build up to something. Come along, sit for the ride. We'll show you a cool story, and just wait. This will all circle back. So I appreciate it in there, even though it doesn't feel right, even watching it for the 730th time.
Yeah, I'm probably the same. I immediately went to Dusk to Dawn as a comparison of what it may be like, because it does play out like a fairly standard war film, maybe without that intro. I'm a big... I mean, it's hard in hindsight to say one way or the other because we've all seen it and we all know. But there is something about the suspense of a film,
Yeah.
and how they deliver that. But I can see from a studio perspective probably why they edited it that way for a mainstream release of a film, just to maybe ground what it is, even though then the next 45 minutes is pretty much a standard warfare,
it's
really.
a good build up though. I mean, having that little bit, you see a spaceship flying, drops the thing, it's like, oh, what's
going
what's
on?
going on here? And then you don't see anything.
You
about
almost
it.
forget.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
forget about it. It's happening. And then, you're following this crew and they're trying to find their mates and blah, blah, blah. But then one by one,
Yeah.
they start getting taken out by, we don't know.
Yeah.
So, I think that's, it's good that it's there. I think it would be okay if it wasn't there as well.
I think so too. Yeah. Do you have thoughts?
I got to say, when I heard this on the podcast, What Went Wrong podcast, that they tacked that on as a addendum from the studio, put this in there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Okay.
And I kind of thought to myself, you've ruined the movie straight away. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You pulled the curtain back and, okay, they're fighting a space monster. I hadn't considered the Dusk Till Dawn analogy, where you're 100% right. 60% of the way through the film, it's a 180 spin around, and it's like, oh, whoa, where did this come from? I'm not prepared for this. But that 30-second clip at the beginning of the film, whether you like it or not, prepares you for what happens when you finally get the reveal of the monster. So I've in this conversation around the table, I've done a 180 on my opinion.
Yep.
I think it also allows the believability that it could be anything from another world. Whereas if you just show it from the jungle onwards, you think, well, that can't be part of this world. What is that? What is it? A mutation of a bear? Is it? You start questioning, where did that come from in the in evolution of man, type thing.
Yeah.
Like, so that throwing that in, it opens it up to, it could be freaking anything. There could be more things out there. There could be xenomorphs in the
chameleon.
sequel.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it for what it is, and
I wonder how it would have gone if they used the original.
It would have
Predator
been
design.
It would have been.
Not as good.
I've got a figure of it.
Yes, I've got that one.
The Van Damme version. I just think I just don't think Van Damme could have pulled it off as well as the Harry and the Hendersons creature character actor did. That artisticness of his the moving and things like that. And they shot almost 3/4 of the film before they locked in the Predator design. So then they had they could walk away, review it, work out what they needed to do, and fine tune it, and then come back. And that, I could go on and on about it, but it saved that movie. And for that, for those 80s movies to hold up in today's standards is incredible.
I think Stan Winston did an amazing job of creating that creature. It's just
You could live and die by that monster, right?
Yes.
Like if it looks goofy or it doesn't look
Yep.
scary or threatening, it's a different film, right?
It could have been one of those forgotten C grade movies, but it's not. It's held up over time.
And, it's on a regular
We're talking
rotation.
about it, today. It probably wouldn't have had a toy line if it wasn't going to be successful.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's move on.
All right.
I could talk
Predator all day. All right, we're going to jump into a look at the very, very popular line, getting a lot of positive reviews. People love this line. We are going to talk Jada Street Fighter, and it is, I always get the name of this right. It's basically the Street Fighter 2 Ultra, the final challenge. There was like a Super Street Fighter 2, and then they got into the Ultra, and then they had the final challenges. So you could play with all the bosses, all the extra characters from Super Street Fighter 2, plus Akuma got in there.
Yes.
To play as Akuma. So this is a very cool line. It's been out for about 2 years or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting, and Ben, you've got a couple of these figures in your toy collection. Sorta did a toy line back in 2007. Didn't get through the full roster.
No, they went too heavy. Every toy line since Sorta can relate back to, okay, how do we plan out a wave? How do we plan out are A-list characters versus the characters that are background characters or, lesser characters, because we don't want to chew up all our, the best of the best. And this line is only going to last 4 waves, because that's exactly what Sorta did. They came out of the gate swinging, home runs, Ken, Ryu, and Bison, all these characters in wave 1. And then they absolutely put that, foot to the brake and just skidded the whole way. And they tried to then backfill it with B and C grade filler characters with, A grade characters as a 1 or 2 release. And it just destroyed the line. Like, the line could have kept going for a lot longer if they just kept releasing better figures throughout.
Yeah.
And for that reason, we never got E-Honda, Dhalsim, Zangief, all those, massive omissions from the line. But I still love this sort of toy line because I could walk into a video game store and purchase them from the pegs. It was so accessible. They did the Player 2 as well. They did, clear figures. They did, exclusive releases like Sagat and Ryu, and Sagat's got the big scar across his chest, and Ryu in black and things like that. They did very well. They did multiple heads and stuff like that. And I'm surprised. I've always thought, these my Sorta ones are going to be tower in comparison to these Jada. And when we actually put M Bison side by side, they actually line up. They're head
Same
for
height.
head.
Yep.
I'm blown away, and if not even more impressed by these Jada ones, because I'm trying to stay a country mile away from these because I have completely run out of room in my toy collection. And as much as I am a Street Fighter fan through and through, much more than a Mortal Kombat fan, that's just the way, the games I played when I was young and things like that. This toy line is just kicking goals, and I'm so excited to see it, so loved and adored, and Street Fighter back into the mainstream. But it's been quite a few years between drinks, and it's fantastic to see some of these new figures in front of us tonight.
Yeah, I'm just one comparison. I mean, the aesthetics are slightly different on the Sorta. So I'm looking at his boots and his wrists. They're very chunky on the Sorta. He's got probably a smaller head as well.
Yes.
I feel like the Jada have got a bit more of the right proportions. They feel a bit more like they look in the game. One big innovation, and we're thinking sort of goes back to 2007, so we're sort of almost that 15, 16 years down the track, is those butterfly joints at the shoulder, which I think are really important for a fighting figure to get them into the right poses. Yeah. But I'm looking at these with beautiful paint apps, great articulation, and a lot of metal, like real metal. Like Dhalsim's got metal earrings that are actually through the ears, and like Guile's got the dog tags made of metal. So some really nice additional touches.
Dhalsim's got bracelets as well, which are kind of cool.
The one that I didn't bring was DJ. Now DJ's same. He's got like a gold necklace as well.
Yeah, cool.
And
what's the pick of the bunch?
I haven't quite got him yet. I'm spewing. I'm waiting for E-Honda.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Blanca is coming out this month.
Yeah.
So Blanca and E-Honda are my 2 favorites.
Yeah.
So just because they're just big, chunky figures, and but I mean, for now, if I'd have to say, Cammy is just
Cammy's the one.
She's
beautiful,
really well made, really well. Like just the poses you can get out of her is just phenomenal. She didn't come with butterfly joints though. That's the only thing. I think a lot of people were disappointed with that. But the range of movement on her, the articulation, it's just you can still get some really good poses.
I suppose they're worried about the sculpt.
It's a small, slender figure. Definitely works on the males. You can definitely slot it in there.
Yeah.
So I with my Sorta collection, I had probably 15 of them. I had most of them. I had probably 85% of the line. And unfortunately, I just came to that conclusion one day. I need to make some space for other toys and things, and I sold them all. But I thought I'm going to keep 2. Just 2 representations of how cool this line is. And I kept in Bison, and I kept Blanca because Blanca was just one of my favorites and such an incredibly cool sculpt. I've questioned myself sometimes. Did I keep the right ones? Should I have kept T-Hawk because he was just a towering figure, or Guile or someone else? But to this day, I've it is what it is. I've got M. Bison and Blanca, and it's cool to see the comparison between the two, M. Bisons tonight. So,
I'm checking out. Sorry, I've been a little bit quiet while you guys have been having to discuss because I was sort of playing around with a cami figure there, and articulation is off the scale for a 6 or 7 inch figure. The posability you can do with the cami figure is all round applaud. But I've never ever seen in all my life a figure with articulated pigtails.
Yes.
That's bonkers level of engineering. It's the simplest tweak you can do on a figure, but you can posability in a hairstyle.
Yeah, that's right. Even on the second head sculpt you get, she's got again a different hair. Like the pigtails are just different. They're a little bit more flowy and a little bit so she's in mid-flight kicking someone. You can really. I think you can pop them out as well and swap on heads as well. So, but yeah, it's. I think that's originally people were thinking that they would have the bendy wire sort of function, but I think they went away from that.
Yeah,
I think this is good.
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea because the bendy wire too much flex, potentially you'll break it. So what, you get 2 or 3 heads per figure, is that right? Or?
Usually 2 heads. Yeah. So it's only with the next level ones like the Violent Ken. I think they just came with 2 heads, but the Fei Long that's coming out soon, he comes with 3 different heads. Yeah. So but I mean you get all this different stuff with different accessories like Dhalsim gets the stretchy arms. Yeah. These are white bendy wire ones, but
makes sense for Dhalsim.
Yeah. But I usually just as you can see, I usually have them posed in that sort of configuration.
Floating yoga pose. Yeah.
It just looks really good.
It's amazing what you can get.
The day I got that figure and I crossed his legs and put him into that pose, it was like, that's it.
Done.
He's staying like that.
Never need to move him again. So usually they come with the blast effects and the on-screen effect. Dhalsim's omission was his yoga flame. Do you think they're going to release
I reckon they'll do that with their next level. Yeah. I think they'll add in those bits. I mean, even with Ken, he didn't come with his Hadouken,
his
fire punch.
Fire,
but the Player 2 version, his white gi, they decided to put that in there. So I got my red gi Ken with the fire punch. But you'll probably find that's what they might do. Yeah, I'm hoping they'll do that for Dhalsim because he could certainly use a bit of a flame effect.
Yep.
Fantastic. Trent, as a collector of the Storm collectibles ones, how do these compare, do you think? Because you collect them both.
I should have brought a couple of Storm ones tonight. Yeah, look, I don't have the whole Storm line. Like, I don't have an E-Honda. I'm not sure they got to Blanca. I thought they did. But I've got like...
I think Blanca is just come out.
Just come out, yeah. Yep. So I had like Ken, Ryu, Akuma. I think I had like a weird version of Cammy from like another Street Fighter, and Bison. He had the sort of crossed arms. Look, probably if you line them up, the Storm collectible ones are of a high quality. I think that's fair to say. But pound for pound, the Jada ones have it, I think. And I would...
You could almost have everything on this table for the price of one of those Storm collectibles ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, they sort of came out at probably around, and obviously they released them so slowly that the price increases over the time. But from memory, they probably started somewhere around $100 Australian and maybe went up to something like 150 RRP, something of that nature. And then you had to ship them. And I know at the time I was getting Mortal Kombat figures direct from Storm, and I was paying $30 sort of shipping on top of that to get them from Hong Kong. So they ended up being, I think, somewhere around $160, $170 to get one in. Secondary market price on the Storm stuff, for whatever reason, is stupid. It's almost like $300 is the minimum on a secondary market. So like you say, at $40, you're getting 8 figures. You're getting, like you say, everything on the table for the price of one of the Storm. So that's where they fall down. I don't think they're not $150 figure in my mind when you're getting that for $40. So I'd be quite happy to just get rid of all my Storm stuff and just focus on the Jada. I think they're a little bit smaller. They're probably like a true 6.5 inch figure, whereas the Storm are that true 7 inch. But these are, in my opinion,
it's everything you want.
It's everything you want.
Yep.
And it's at an absolute bargain price.
Yeah, fantastic. Chris, what do you want to see with this line? The concern is that with the e-Hondas, the Blancas, the whoever else is yet to be released, what's after that? After the end of the 2.5 years, 3-year run of this line, do you think there's enough characters left or enough variants left in the chamber to keep going? Or
I think I'm not 100% sure, but I'd heard word that they might go on to Street Fighter 6 and stuff like that. So there is a lot of characters still that they can. And I think that June had mentioned that they were looking at that later on after this line is finished. So for me, Street Fighter 2 is my line. So that's where I'll probably end up finishing.
Yep.
But there are so many characters in the Street Fighter universe. I'm sure if they're making such good, figures, good quality figures, good prices, it's a moneymaker for them. I have no doubt that they'll carry on with anything else that they can get their hands on, really. So, yeah.
Were you one of the many people disappointed not to see Jada get the Mortal Kombat license? Or
it would have been good. I wasn't disappointed, but, I've seen what Todd McFarlane is doing with his Mortal Kombat line. That looks pretty good, but it would have been great if Jada did pick up that license, because what they've done with the Street Fighters is just, that'd be so good.
Yep.
They, the articulation and just the effects that would come with them, and there was also talk that with the Street Fighter line that they want to do like a heads pack, so they can do like the defeated character.
Yeah, the bloody there's the blood noses and all that. Yeah, that's a good call.
I got a picture here of the Storm collectibles. Blanca defeated face. So stuff like that'd be great if they did that.
At the end.
But
the countdown screen.
Well, it's iconic, isn't it? Because you saw your character defeated.
Yeah,
I always got defeated. Yeah, I always got beaten up. So, but that would have been awesome if they did get the license, because I think they would have done that line justice. And
what about Darkstalkers or any other fighting game that Capcom were under?
Look,
or Street Fighter was where it's at.
I think Street Fighter is where it's at. But I mean, I think whatever Jada decides to do in the future, I think whatever they touch at the moment is gold.
Fantastic.
So cool. I hope that all the best and just keep doing the good stuff. So
I have to say, I love the fact that they've just gone the roster, right?
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2, Ultra, last final challenges, and we're just focusing on that. We'll get them all done. We won't go into Street Fighter 6 just yet, or Street Fighter 4 or 5 or whatever. I commend them for that. That's just so frustrating that you don't get a complete roster from a toy manufacturer.
Well, in Sorta, I was learning about characters that I'd never even played with, Jen. Who's Jen? And a Buka, or a Sakura. All these characters that I had no idea with. I've actually got in physical plastic form, and yet I don't have an E-Honda. I don't have a Dhalsim.
The ones that we used to play with.
Yeah, I don't have a Zangief yet.
Yeah.
And I have special, place in my heart for them now, because I learnt through the Toyline. But at the same time, I was always holding it. That's part of the reason I think I sold my assorted toys back in the day, is because, back in 15, 20, whatever it was, it's like this line is dead in the water. It's never coming back. The sorta's gone. I'm never going to be able to finish this line. I might as well just move it on, because it feels to me incomplete.
Yeah. And that's, I'm so glad Jada Toys are doing this. And like I said, my friend Victor, he introduced me to it, and I was blown away. And was like, this is my chance to get that e-Honda.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have forked out the money to get a Storm Collectibles e-Honda.
Yeah.
But with this, I can get all of them.
Yes.
And at a decent price.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer, really. So, and I just hope they said that they were going to, see through until like possibly into 2026, early 26.
Fantastic.
They'll finish the line.
Good on them.
Everything in between, there'll be next level stuff and player 2 stuff, which I've got no problems with that.
Yeah, it's great. Like, I think, getting value for money out of sculpts.
Yeah.
The player 2 stuff makes perfect sense. And like the M Bison here, that kind of blue, that turquoise blue M Bison, so iconic to the selection. I think it makes perfect sense. To do. I
Absolutely.
think that they look great.
I love the variants on this line as well. I mean, you're getting the same figure, yes, and you're getting a different paint job, yes. Some of them, with the next level, you're getting extra, 3 extra heads. One that will fit with your old Chun-Li, and you're getting her blast effect as well. So things that you would get with the original figure, but I like it. It's okay, you can spend extra money on getting the same figure just to get, an extra bit. But for me, I don't care. It's it's a fun line.
You don't mind when it's readily available and it's $40.
And it's
like
such a good quality figure as well.
Yep.
You can see my picture there. I've got 3 Chun-Lis. I've now got 3 Kens. I've got 3 Ryu as well now, and I can see this is where it's going. I'm about to have 2 Guiles because the blue variant's coming out soon.
Yep.
So you can see how my collection's going to basically have 3 of each figure.
Yeah.
Well, for our Toy Awards, Chun-Li was voted by numerous people as the figure of the year. So, all the more power to Chun-Li.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think there's opportunity for an exclusive damaged car or something like that?
I really
Cybertruck.
I hope they do something like that. Like I said, the faded heads pack would be great, but having that car that you just like hit and just explodes,
like crash test dummies,
stuff like that. That would be awesome. I'd definitely buy 2 of those.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
That's not the only Capcom toy line you've brought in today. You've also got a bit of Bomberman action.
Yes,
Bomberman.
Bomberman, yes, as they call it in Japan. Mega Man.
Mega Man, yeah.
Mega Man. Yeah.
I think that Bomberman game where you drop the bombs and try to blow each other up.
Sorry.
Yeah, Japan it was called Bomberman, but here is it Bomberman? It was Bomberman.
It was Mega Man here.
Mega Man here, but the Japan called it something different. Again, Jada Toys knocking it out of the park. It's just such a cool looking figure. Articulation is really good. The faces,
they're brilliant, aren't they?
You get 2 different faces, head sculpts, different expressions.
My only I missed out on the whole Bomberman video games and things like that. My only ties to it is from Marvel vs. Capcom fighting games and occasionally playing with him and his dog and all that sort of stuff because those games were just they are so high up there on my
and they still are. I mean, it's no brainer. I collect Marvel Legends. I got Jada Street Fighter Toys, and now I got Mega Man. So Marvel versus Capcom. It's right there. It's on the shelf. It's happening.
That's fantastic.
Do you ever grab your Marvel Legends and put them against the Street Fighters?
Oh, yeah. I was just put them together. Yeah, that looks good.
There was a time where I was close to, if I just get, a Captain America and put it with, fighting Guile or something, I was pretty close to going down that.
Well, there's the latest Marvel Legends tease that they did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw that one. Did you see that
was
one?
Was it Cyclops?
No, they showed like some effect parts.
Right.
And
the Captain Iron Man with the big gun.
No,
okay,
no. This apparently, from what everyone's saying, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2-pack. So it's going to have Juggernaut and
they
Psylocke.
hinted at this. Yes.
Oh
Psylocke.
wow!
Yeah.
What a cool set.
So I've already got a Juggernaut. I've already got a Psylocke, but we'll get this one. Whatever. Yeah, take my
amazing.
money. Who cares?
Yeah.
Because there's just something so satisfying when you can do a 56 hit combo.
Yeah, so easily too.
Just by mashing buttons.
Smash.
How did you do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Brilliant.
game is so good though.
Brilliant. So much fun. Yep.
But I think they look. I think Marvel Legends will probably fill out that line as well. The Capcom, Marvel Capcom sort of thing, so you can put them up against your Jada toys.
It's a pretty easy step sideways for Marvel, isn't it?
Oh,
Just
easy,
to
yeah.
re-engineer, give them a bit of a cartoony.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's mainly the
maybe
look
element
is a
to
paint
it,
apps, really, isn't
Yeah,
it?
100%.
Yeah.
Like you've got the Hulk, you can do that straight away. Captain America, they're all there
Well,
to be done.
the next level, the Maximum Hulk.
Yeah,
I
Maximum
mean,
Hulk. Yeah.
he looks pretty
right
close
there.
to like the Capcom
does.
one. So yeah,
Yep. I think Blackheart would be, and maybe Shumagorath would be the two
Yeah,
that you'd
yeah.
have to sort of re-engineer a little bit, but
I've got the Blackheart builder figure.
Yep.
I think that's pretty close. I think it's maybe color variation, maybe, but yeah, I think it's pretty good. It fills the gap.
Having a lot of fun over here with
Yeah, he's loving
Mega
it.
Man.
Ben's loving it.
Part
They've
of
got
it.
so much character, those Mega
They
Man.
do,
Like
yeah.
they just.
I mean, like I said, I only brought that's just one facial expression. There's another head with the other facial expression. I picked these ones because they look more, sort of.
They're fun.
Just a bit
Yep.
more fun.
Yep.
The other one's a bit more stoic sort of
Yep.
face.
Yep.
But
A lot of expression, a lot of character.
Yeah.
Take his head
Yeah,
off.
Scissor
Oh,
Man.
You get
nice.
little stands as well for them.
Flying
Yeah,
scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wicked. Well done.
Very
Thank
cool.
you for,
Great stuff.
yeah.
Really, really good to see. All right. Well, next up, we're going to just go around the room for some latest scores. Who wants to? Do you want to crack that, Scotty? You've got a modulock there from Master of the Universe Origins that you are about to open.
My good mate Trent, you might have heard of him from Lego Masters. He hooked me up with a Origins modulock in the last couple of weeks, and I've saved it for this very episode. I'm going to crack this open live on air. So listen up for the awesome sound effects of
Oh, there he
the
goes.
package opening.
But I like
up.
that you've opened the package there, and then on the sort of the flap, the other side of the flap, it's all the different parts that are inside.
That's right. The first thing you're greeted with is like an accessory list of body parts. There's 34. That's right, 34 interchangeable parts included in the box for Modulock. So that's on the inside flap. Pulling that down, opening up a little bit more here, as we pull. And I'm doing this as sound effects here. We pull the main man out of the box
There he is.
himself, and my goodness, he's just
That is cool.
that actually looks really, really
Because
well.
he's built, there's a
incredible.
built version, and that was sort of in a window box, but then
Yes.
all the other parts are off to the side.
They've laid this out in the sort of that plastic blister, that bubble, to be like a buffet of body parts.
That's right.
You can sit there and
Hannibal
overload
Lecter would
what
be
you like.
salivating.
There's a liver over here and a selection of
Father beans.
Father beans,
beans
yeah.
and Chianti.
Yeah. Need a good Chardonnay to go with it to wash it all down with.
And he comes together a little bit different to the vintage version of Modulock.
Just chuck him in a box.
That's right. It's a series of pegs that you're going to sort of interchange for the different body parts and mutations that you want to put together for Modulock. He's got his weapon packed in there as well.
Has he got a new shield that he comes with on the very far right?
Yeah.
Is that a
he's
shield
got a
weapon?
shield.
Yeah.
Yep. Just next to his other
Ah.
the blue legs.
Does that double down as like a part separator as well? Maybe.
Like a Lego piece.
Yeah.
You never know. I'm not going to try and find out through fear of breaking it.
So, Chris, as from your point of view of receiving one as a prize for a colouring in competition, how do you feel about this? Does this hit all the
I like it.
member berries?
It's a bigger and chunkier as well.
Chunkier, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm looking one at $68.10 on Amazon right now. So yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good value.
Good price.
At Amazon right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure by the time we go to air, it'll be sold out.
Because honestly, when I remember getting my classics one, and I was incredibly blown away by it. It was just so cool, figure.
My criticism of the vintage one, having had him and Multibot as a kid, was that he was a bit scrawnier than the buff
Skinny,
physique,
yeah.
skinnier,
Yeah.
which was fine. He's sort of a different monster. They're all a bit different. But I do like with the classics line, and now with this Origins version, they've beefed him up. He feels like he can fit in with the other characters.
He feels
in
like
terms
more
of,
of a
size.
monster than a just a scrawny
Yeah.
bitzer. Yeah, very cool, Scott.
I'll take
I
one.
like the colours. They're very vibrant as well.
I'm looking forward to seeing if and when they I would say when they do multi-bot as well. It's going to look just as big and chunky.
Yeah, I think so.
Then you can watch out for them. Is it
Mega
Mega
Beast?
Mega Beast. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Join them up.
Yeah,
Join them all up.
Cool bananas.
Yeah, I've been saving him along with some of the other Mattel creations for sort of a day where I'll sit down and, hey, now that I've opened this may actually be tomorrow.
Yep.
Where I've got Rio Blast and Eldor and a few of the others have been released lately. I'm going to crack a beer, crack a whiskey, and sit down and just spend the morning opening them up and having a bit of fun.
Nice.
Awesome.
I think you mean Hero, right?
Hero?
Yes.
Yep. Hero, he's a part of the...
Yes.
Yep. And we got Hero the other day as
Yeah,
well, didn't
yeah.
we? Yes, there we go.
Have another
Too many
Exactly.
figures come through.
He's very, very cool. Wonderful. All right. Well, I might go next. I brought in a couple of things. The one I wanted to sort of show off and pass around the table is the Rat King by Super 7 in their Ultimates line. And this one this sort of made everyone stop, made Super 7 sort of stop, go back to the drawing board and revisit the head sculpt because no one wanted the
clean
good,
yeah.
Nice boy, clean cut look, which was sort of his look from the new video game that they released, the Shredder's Revenge video game. He had his Pied Piper sort of look. And he had
that was a pretense to where maybe Playmates and things were going to say, hey, you can't make direct.
Well,
now what
correct.
we know now versus what we knew back then. We were when we first saw it, we were like, no, that's not Playmates.
Yeah.
Why? What are you doing, Super 7?
Yeah.
But now, fast forward
We
to
know.
know what we know now,
Yeah.
where they can't make the Playmates versions. You can understand why they went with that.
100%. I totally understand it, and they've done an amazing job. I brought in my vintage Rat King here
With an extra mouse.
with a little extra rat there.
You've got his cat thing backwards.
I do have his cat thing backwards. Yeah, I do. I've got his cat belt around the wrong way. I think Super 7 went out of their way to give us that vintage Rat King head by, I think, like maybe some reference to a pinball machine or some.
Yeah.
They had to really draw the long bow to kind of get him in. The one thing I don't think they could do is the belt. They couldn't do that snake belt with the roadkill cat on because that was clearly a Playmates only design. So they've kind of given him the dead cat or the roadkill cat as a shoulder sling.
Yeah.
So that, I guess, a little bit disappointing not to have the OG, but you understand where they're coming from, why they had to do it. So I think in the end, all things considered, what they were able to do, we got a really, really nice, authentic toy version of the Rat King, and I think he's great.
He's pretty cool. He's pretty
I
cool.
like the different head sculpts that you get. They look pretty cool.
Which one's your favourite? I think the open mouth grizzly look
Yeah,
is
that
the
one's
best.
that's the best, I think.
Yep.
All right, yeah, Scott's passing him back. Sans a few things. He's falling apart there.
Yep,
and,
I've dropped a few weapons on the ground.
We'll get those.
Over
we'll
by
get
your
those.
foot. Careful where you step, please.
We'll get those after. And the other thing I brought in here as well, it's quite hard to find. Unfortunately, when these things hit the shelves, they seem to fly off very quickly. But it was the Masters of the Universe Origins 40th anniversary She-Ra Princess of Power subline in the cartoon collection. And this is Catra, which is a very, very beautiful looking figure with the full Origins articulation. What's really nice about this is she comes with her purple cape and the mask that is removable. Or when I say removable, I think you can remove it, but it basically goes up and down on the face. And in the cartoon, when she put that mask over her eyes, she would turn into Claudine. And that's the other thing we get, a little kind of,
More filmation design for Claudine, because the original Claudine was the pink one that we came, which is as big as Battle Cat.
It's a Battle Cat style Claudine.
Yeah.
I think like in the cartoon, was it like a little bit bigger than this?
Yes, it was.
This is a small, I guess you'd call this like a large cat size.
Yeah.
It's bigger than a house cat, but it's not like a tiger or panther sort of size. And I feel like in the show, it was broadly human sort of
Panther
size, panther
size?
size.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say more
something
panther
a little
size.
bit bigger.
But it's still the first time we've ever, even with the amazing what Matty Collector did back in the day, this is the first time in 40 years.
Yeah.
We've got a filmation accurate Catra figure, or this is the second release of Catra full stop. You know, the first one was the flocked pink version with the lion mane and the things, and this is the second one.
Claudine, yeah,
more looking like the filmation design. So I love it. I absolutely love it. Massive props to Pav Factor on the Discord. He reached out and said, "Hey, I found a Catra in packet, wherever he found it. Do you need it?" I said, "Yes." I ordered her on Amazon. That fell through. They never fulfilled the order. So I was on the hunt. Nothing they show up in Adelaide, they get, swept up before they even hit the shelves almost. So Trent's incredibly lucky to find one. I was not, and Pav Factor came to the rescue. So thank you in advance to him hooking me up. So yeah,
beautiful. Yeah, nice work. The Underground Toy Network,
100%,
which is always good.
Yep. Right, I've got two things, and first one is rather exciting.
Ooh.
Right, I've got four little things.
box.
I'm going to give them out.
Oh, wow, okay.
I'm not going to look at them. These are from Matty Teal. There you go.
All right. Oh, Rock Lords. Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
So Matty Teal.
Matty Teal's been collecting. I do get the updates from Matt on the Rock Lords collection. I think he's only about 2 away from the complete collection.
So classic scenario. Yeah, I know the balls. Yeah,
Mine's got a nugget pouch.
Yours has a ball sack.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Classic scenario. Matt Teal's getting to the pointy end of the Rock Lords, the general collection. He saw a bulk lot online, needed a couple of them, that he wanted, and had to buy the rest. What does one do with extra Rock Lords?
Give them
You give them away to your mates. He had a few things that he had held for me. We're doing a few trade scenarios, and he's like, I can't just send you these two weapons, by themselves. So he made a bit of a box of it, and these included these 4 Rock Lords that everyone's got. Please don't ask me the names. I can only describe them to you because I haven't done that much research yet. What I'm holding in my hand, though, is the grey character with the cross on his face with purple limbs. He's the one I had as a kid, so this is quite nostalgic for me to have one that I had as a kid. Trent, you've got the...
This is really cool, actually. I got this red kind of lava guy, and he transforms really nicely. And he's even got, you pull out his head... And he's got a little jaw with teeth underneath.
Love it.
Really
he's one of my
nicely done.
favourites. And I think that's why Telio sent him to me, because I commented on that one in particular, saying I think that one's one of the cooler ones.
That one is called Brimstone.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And what have you got, Chris?
I have got Slimestone,
which is
he's
chrome.
He's a chrome, vac metal chrome one. This one actually not too bad.
Yeah, it looks still got a bit of shine.
Still a bit of shine on it. A little bit of the chrome vacuum.
Show off the face, though.
But the face, wow, jeez.
Wow.
It's like a robotic frog or something. Just
wow.
So good.
Yeah, I love it. The face, that wins face of the...
face
yeah.
Face of
I would have never expected that. If you said, what do you think this face is going to look like? Robot frog with googly eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then Scotty's got
transforming his.
bull's head.
You got marbles.
Yep. I've worked out that my ball sack is in fact my head.
Oh, it wasn't a ball sack.
No, it's actually my head.
It's funny because his name is Marbles.
Marbles.
Yep. So that's the most questionable one of the lot.
They've clearly had a lot of fun when they've designed that, haven't they?
Yeah. So I think this is cool. Will this start me on a Rock Lords collection? We shall see.
I used to have Sticks and Stones in my collection back in the day. Which one did you get? You have.
I had this one. This is the grey, the purple one.
That one is called. Bear with me a second. He's called Crackpot.
Crackpot. There you go. For those at home. Cool. And I've got
they're
one.
fun.
So we've showed off the gag prize. This is very cool. Thank you again, Matt Teal. Now something very serious.
Okay. Oh, he's got him.
Dino Riders Guts from the Rulons.
Yeah.
This guy, this is the 6th alligator series or croc series character in the Dino Riders collection. And that rounds out my Dino Riders
done.
Rulons.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, got all
So
the Rulons.
This guy cost me a pretty penny. There were others cheaper than this guy on offer on eBay, but the paint on them was terrible. It's like someone had flicked paint on them or just ran them through the dirt or something. Like they were missing more paint than they had on them.
Right.
So I passed on quite a few, and then this one came up, and the guy pretty much wrote in the comments, I purchased these, I took them out of the packet, I displayed them on my shelf. They've been on my shelf for 20, 30 years. Now it's time to move them on.
Have a look at the paintings
And
on
he's flawless. Like, he is just, next level.
Yeah, it's mint.
design.
It's absolutely mint.
Yeah.
It is. You couldn't get a better paint app on that.
Yeah.
It's case fresh.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Does that have
This
any
is
weapons?
a 2-pack figure.
Yes. So I don't collect the Valorians, the good guys. I just focus on the Rulons, the bad guys. And it is kind of eye-watering to drop the amount of coin that I did on a character like that, and he doesn't even come with a weapon or a.
Yeah, I was going
Well,
to
you
say.
can give him a weapon, can't you?
I've got extra weapons, I think.
Does
But,
he
but I'm
originally
just
come
saying, there's the 87, 88 type era, Ice Age is when he's from. If you're playing at home, and that's it. I've collected all of them. I just need one bomb for my yellow Quetzalcoatlus, which I bought earlier in the year, thanks to Lobo's Toys and a few deals around the internet and trades and things. You go back through the Toy Power history and you hear me saying I'm never collecting Dino Riders, and here I am rounding out in exact almost half of the collection.
You've done very well. I mean,
So
I've got what I consider a pretty complete Dino Riders collection. I've got, I think, everything pretty much in the box, but I don't have the 2-packs. I've got one Commando. I've got a couple of the figures in their packaging. So I don't have a lot of these random repaint variants that came in the packs. I don't have, and I haven't tried to collect.
yeah.
So you got more variations of the characters than I do. I mean, I didn't realize there's so many of these crocodile characters.
There's 6.
There's
So
6 of them.
There's 6 crocodile characters.
Yeah.
4 of the locusts, 3 of the what's the other one? The stingray.
Yep.
Stingray, and then there's 3 of the frog guys, the leaders.
Yep.
And then it just goes on from there. Ants and snakes and
like there's a weird
hammerheads.
like
Yeah.
that ant kind of guy in a white jumpsuit.
Yep.
And then there's like a snake with a purple.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
all, and then
They're all different waves.
Krulos in green.
Yeah. So Krulos came in 3 different versions.
Yep.
So this is an incredibly, milestone for my little vintage toy collection.
Beautiful.
I can add figures this size to the toy collection. I don't have room to start a whole new Jada, Street Fighter toy line from 15 figures deep or whatever. So this is quite exciting to add this little guy to the collection. And I know the colours on this guy is green head, purple body, yellow gloves, and just looks wild. So,
Well done.
cool bananas.
That's fantastic.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Done very
So-
nicely. Is that it?
that's it.
Around the room?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
One shout out, maybe.
Yeah, shout them out.
Well, we're coming up on our 400th birthday,
It
aren't we?
is, isn't it? Well, what was this? This was 394.
394. Yeah, so we're 6 weeks, maybe 7 weweeks away before we record 400.
What did we do last time? We got a bit sneaky and we did like
wasn't it?
349.1
Yeah.
and 0.2.
Yep.
Yeah, we padded out a little bit while we waited for a certain item to arrive.
Yeah.
So 400 is coming up. I can confirm we have a guest
Oh, right.
lined up to join us. We're still putting the finishing touches on the format for this episode, but it's going to be something we have not done before. This is a whole new, fresh, concept, and it's either going to be amazing or a complete dumpster fire. I'm not sure which side.
I think the guest we've got, it will be on the more amazing side. I think that's fair to say.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think he'll bring his A game.
Yeah,
making it a memorable episode.
I think so. I think it'd be great.
So, Chris, where can the listeners find more of you? Instagram handle or what do you got going on?
I'm not that big on social media these days lately. I'm so busy with work and just too exhausted to do anything.
New puppies and things.
I've got a new puppy. I'm always going away to remote parts of the outback and spending a lot of time
for work. Yep.
There's no
other reason.
There's no toy stores out there.
There's no toy stores. There's no. All you get is kangaroos, emus, and lizards and snakes. And but
in that order.
I'm usually on Instagram, Dark Light Collector. I post random stuff every now and again. I did open up. I started a Dark Light Turtles lair to showcase my Turtles collection, but I sort of dropped the ball a bit on that one, but I'll get there one day.
Yep.
And that's pretty much me. Or you can see me at the toy fair.
Yep.
I'm always selling there. So,
Radical Rewinds anywhere
I'm always
around
at
Adelaide.
Radical Rewinds. I'm a local at Semaphore, so
beautiful.
Yep. So I'm always at those ones. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss the next one because I'm going to be in Woomera. So but anyway, there's plenty more coming up. So I'll be around. So you can find me on the streets.
Fantastic.
Or in a toy store.
Yep.
Cool.
Or at Dave's Video Graveyard, which is is a toilet in Semaphore, is that right?
Yes.
That's the location he's tagged himself in for DVG. It's like a public toilet opposite the cinema there. So
isn't that the one that's just a little further down? It's got the self-cleaning
one.
I call them musical toilets.
Fantastic.
That's the one.
All right. Well, wonderful. Well, thanks, Chris, for coming in and joining us.
Guys. It was good fun.
Excellent. That's great. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Toy Power. And to all our patrons and supporters, thanks for your chatter and support on the Discord. Stay safe, take care of one another, and we will see you around the toy aisles.
And until next time, good journey!
You can find the Toy Power team at all the usual online places. Facebook.com/ToyPowerPodcast, at Toy Power Podcast on both Twitter and Instagram, or have your say and email us, toypowerpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the show on both iTunes and Stitcher, and please leave us a review. Otherwise, we just assume we're awesome.